Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Dr. Mami and Baby. And yeah, it's been a while since I actually made some live with our guest speakers. And today is going to be quite special because we're going to have Datin, Dr. Zahurin. She was a academician before she shift herself into becoming a healthy lifestyle advocate. And for today's live, we'll be speaking about losing weight after giving birth. So, mommies, I know that some of you would think that, yeah, I think I can lose weight with just breastfeeding, or maybe I've tried many ways and I can't seem to lose it. So, today we'll be having Datin Dr. Zahurin to explain extensively, comprehensively on many ways, and one of the ways to actually live healthily and eventually get a ideal body shape that we want. Okay, without further ado, I would like to invite Datin Dr. Zahurin Mohamed on board to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her background and what inspires her to advocate this kind of lifestyle. Okay, hi, Doctor.
Hi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, Alina. First of all, I would like to. Right. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Mami and Baby, and also to Puan Alina for inviting me, for giving me this chance to share. Okay, since you mentioned about, introducing myself. Yes, my name is Zahurin Mohamed. Now, 5 years ago, I actually retired as a professor of pharmacology. Okay, from a local university, and then subsequently, actually, I had a small business on healthcare as well. Okay, taking care of the old people and so on. And but now I'm fully into as health consultant for this particular product. But yeah, your question was very interesting. Calling me a health advocate, and health lifestyle advocate. I love that. I think I'll use that more often. Yes, and how it happened, Alina, is actually because about 6 months ago, okay, my husband and I decided to actually lose weight, okay, and there were so many benefits as a result of that. And one of it is that we actually managed to get off some of our medications. I mean, how good is that? And from then on, I really feel that a lot of people will benefit from this kind of lifestyle changes, okay, because it was actually a total change of what I eat, and how my lifestyle is in terms of exercises and so on. I was doing exercises even prior to that, I must admit, but now I know what kind of exercises to do, what kind of food to eat, and that it has actually also affected the rest of the family. Thank you very much, Alina.
So, what an amazing journey! Because sometimes some people would say that they would never adopt that kind of lifestyle. They just proceed with whatever they have, and to have that kind of turning point is quite a blessing, I would say. So today we would like to gain as much knowledge as possible with Dr. Zahurin in terms of losing weight after giving birth. So I will share you guys on the screen. Then Dr. Zahurin will elaborate further on the points given. So if you can see from the screen, the title for today's live is about losing weight. And doctor, maybe you can explain a bit about what is the main culprit of fat or belly fat, as we call it.
All right. Okay. Is this in relation to pregnancy or generally?
After pregnancy, I would say.
After pregnancy, okay. But okay, before I answer that, Alina, I would like to also maybe take a step back, okay,
Okay.
and maybe talk about what are the main contributor to weight gain, shall
Mm,
I? Okay,
okay.
because because it's not, it's not a villain. I mean, weight gain is not a villain as such, because
Okay.
we actually do need this weight gain as the
Okay.
baby is growing. Okay, before I said anything, I forgot that in my introduction, I actually would also need to qualify that I am a mother of two people. Just that my
Uh,
kids, my
yeah.
kids are parents themselves. Because I'm the mother of a 37-year-old son and a 34-year-old daughter, and each of them has a son each. So I've got two grandsons actually. Okay, so the main contributor I would say to weight gain is, well, in the first place, when we are pregnant, we need to have some kind of a balanced diet, and sometimes even this makes people confused. Should I gain a lot of weight? Am I eating for two? And so
Yeah.
on and so forth. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
especially, I know, Alina, that you are the mother of one person. Did you have that confusion? Did
Yeah,
you?
especially in the beginning, am I giving enough nourishment for my
I
kid?
can
So that
imagine.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so 37 years ago, I had that kind of worry as well, because at that time I was, in fact, overseas. I just finished my PhD. I didn't have my mother-in-law to refer to, and there were not many self-help books as such. There were no
Yeah,
internet
correct.
that I can just refer to, and so on. So yes, indeed, I was really, really quite confused, because most people, in the early days, they say that don't put on too much weight, because if you do, then you get hypertension in pregnancy, and then and because of that, you will actually have preeclampsia during thing, and so
Oh
people
yeah,
were trying
yeah.
to hold back. You know what I mean? I think you
Mhm.
must have read that. And then later on, I say, no, it is very important for you to put on some kind of weight, because the baby need the nourishment. So this kind of thing is actually is actually in people's mind. However, we need to know that as we are carrying the baby, there are a lot of changes to the woman's body. I mean, we cannot deny that, all right? And in each of the changes too, okay, we will gain more weight. And for a lot of people, they will gain more in the final month and in the beginning, okay? And that is necessary, because, and it's not just the weight of the body, so you cannot blame the baby as giving you a lot of weight. There's also the amniotic fluid, and all the circulation of the baby, the blood circulation, all that is part of weight. So that is actually a natural process, okay? But
Okay.
another thing that we actually need to know is that there are guidelines as to how much weight that you can put on. So maybe, Alina, we will see in the next slide. Okay, what are the medical guidelines for this weight gain? All right. So yeah. So
This is the one, right?
no, it's the one before that.
Okay, this one.
Yeah, yeah, because I know it's at the end of it. Maybe it's not so obvious here. My slides, I think I need to improve it a little bit.
It's
But
okay.
so it seems that for the normal weight, per person with a normal BMI. Okay, later in the next slide, but not yet, I will tell you what a BMI is. So what a normal weight, what a normal BMI. So for a normal weight person with normal BMI, you should just be able to put on about 11.5 kilogram. But if you are overweight, you can't put on, I mean, the recommendation is you only need to put on between 7 to 11 kilograms. And if you are really obese, then you only need to put on maybe 5 to 9 kilograms only. Okay, so that is the guidelines as I saw in the CDC. CDC is a center of a drug, in the US. So, and then, okay, so you might want to know, okay, what's normal, what's overweight, and what's obese. So we'll have the next slide, Alina.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what we mean by a normal weight, because a certain weight, Okay, if you are tall, it might not be overweight, but in a shorter person, then it really is, overweight. So that is why you have this thing called the BMI, or the body mass index, that takes into account both your body weight as well as your height. So as we can see here, all right, you for about, if you are less than 18.5 in terms of BMI, then it is actually quite too low. Okay, and then so the normal body weight is normal BMI is between 18 and 25. Okay, anything beyond that, okay, and then you're already overweight, and anything beyond 30, where the BMI is concerned, then you are already obese. Okay, so so the next slide as well now. So why do we need to do this? Why are there recommendations, okay, for people, whether they are going to put that much weight or not? Now, the whole idea of that recommended weight gain is we do not want women to put in too much weight during the pregnancy. Okay, because if you have during your pregnancy, you have too much weight gain, then you have a higher risk of a lot of health problems and complications. Okay, for example, all right, one of the complications in pregnancy, you have too much weight gain, is gestational diabetes, or diabetes that you don't normally have diabetes, but during that time, then you develop diabetes. That's called GD, gestational diabetes. And normally, and not normally, but sometimes this gestational diabetes can then develop onto preeclampsia, or high blood pressure. Yeah, I think you may have heard of friends, Alina.
Yeah,
Who
I think
actually.
we've had this session with previous speaker on preeclampsia, and one of
Oh,
the
mashallah.
leading risk is obesity, right? So yeah, it's
Right. Okay, that's very interesting. Yes, and definitely, right? So high BP, the high blood pressure is what preeclampsia is, and you are right. Okay, one of the thing is it is a result of being too obese, and then of course, if you have too big a baby, too much weight gain, then you will have a big baby. Now, what's wrong with the big baby? Well, then there might be complications during birth. All right. So you don't want that. It might even lead to a cesarean section. You know how it is. I'm sure, Alina, you experience it. You would want a normal birth as far as
yeah,
possible. So Caesar, nothing wrong with Caesar. Both of my children actually are cesarean. But okay, if you can avoid that, then there is. And then, of course, the last one is, if you have gained too much weight, then you need to lose the extra weight after giving birth. And
remember.
that, yes, and
I
that
think
has
one of
been.
the misconception people have about big baby is, oh, anak sihat because big baby, right? So they don't really
Exactly.
understand the side effect
Right.
of having it.
That's right, Alina. So, normally, kalau Malay, then we say, Masya Allah, sihat budak tu, and
Yeah,
it's a good thing. Okay, so maybe we need to be a little bit more careful, not too big, okay,
yeah,
because then it's not just for the mom, but also for the babies. Okay, there are a lot of in it, because, right, and okay, there are a lot of ways in which you can avoid that. We will come to that, but generally, in order to avoid having too much weight gain, then you really need to look after what you're eating. We will talk more about food later. Now, on the other hand, okay, so we don't want people to say, oh my God, I don't want to, I don't want to gain weight. I am not going to gain weight. I'm going to just not eat. Oh, this is, that's not right either, okay? Because if the pregnant women do not gain enough weight, this can also harm the baby. Okay, too small a baby. Okay, they're also exposed to a lot of effects. Okay, so I read somewhere even spinal neural defects and things like that. So we don't want either. We want them to be putting on weight in the normal range, in the range that I mentioned actually, Alina. All right. So yeah, so that's a little bit about why you should not gain too much weight. Okay, but having said all of that, okay, if you want to say that, okay, because I think at the moment more of the women are affected by having too much weight rather than too little, right? So
Especially by staying home, like just
exactly. Sekarang kan, and a lot of people have said that they put on weight just during the MCO. I did, Alina. So that is part of the reason why I went through that journey that I took. Because I was normally about 64, and then I became 69, and then I thought, oh dear, yes, it was so natural. It was just sitting around, and but luckily I live in an area. I live in a condominium, so we can actually exercise even though I couldn't go to the gym and things like that. But having said that, I don't think that you would want to immediately have the baby and then want to lose weight straight away. That's not the right thing, because I think the women need to reflect. Wow, what happened recently with having the baby, that's such a marvelous thing. Okay, a human being was created during the 9 months. So don't be in a hurry to just, oh no, I just want to lose weight and things like that. No, because you have to give your body time to adapt. All right, you have to give your body to say that, yeah, something amazing happened. Okay, I think as a mom, even though it was more than 30 years ago, we can relate to that. Something amazing just happened. It took 9 months for this little bundle of joy to be actually given birth. So you might actually need that 9 months to slowly get back to shape. So as I said, marvel at that first, rather than straight away having to
I
lose
think
weight.
my mommies are pressured because they say that, oh, I think I look at these artists and they have this pantang period to lose all the weight they gain during pregnancy. So people were like, maybe I should do that.
To do as well. Yes, I know. So there are a lot of what you call this stress. Okay, and again, it's not just stress about having to look good, also stress about having the baby. I mean, it's not that you don't want, but we cannot deny the fact that when you have that baby, is going to cry most of the time. Your sleep pattern is going to go haywire, and if you are not getting too much support from your partner, not because he doesn't love you, but he doesn't know what to do with this screaming baby,
Yeah,
especially, yeah,
guys.
especially you've experienced that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so in his mind, especially if you're breastfeeding, the only thing to stop this
Yes,
screaming
correct.
baby is to give to the mom. So in the middle of the night, it says, "Mom, take care of the baby." So it is important that you actually have that spouse support as well. So all of these are actually the stresses, and like you say, wow, how can somebody lose that much weight in such a short time? What did they do? I'm going to find out more. Okay, so yeah, so you have to balance between these two. You don't want it to go on. Okay, I think me myself, I didn't really lose the fat that I gained after my second baby. Wow, for a long, long time. But that's not going to be an excuse. I think my awareness about having to keep shape after that wasn't there. Okay, it is only now the concept of being well all the time and so on. So I that's why I love the word, yeah, you say advocate. That's why I'm advocating that at whatever age that you are. Okay, even in the 6 series like I am, or even a young person like you in your 20s, my children are in their 30s, they need to actually be fit and healthy. They'll give you more energy. It will make you look good, give you self-esteem, and all of this. Yeah. Yes, Alina.
All right. So maybe you might want to explain on the okay, I think this one doctor already said lah. So you already did something amazing. Growing baby took time, so it takes
That's
time. So we're moving on to the eating habit. So
right.
during pantang you cannot eat this and that, but during pregnancy it's like crazy. Everything we eat as much. So how to like shifting from healthy eating and then to sorry, from junk food to healthy eating?
All right. Okay, that's a very good question. And sometimes, eating habits can actually also be quite sensitive. Okay, if you're going to try somebody to try and advise them and then says, okay, eat healthy, whatever you are eating now, that's not healthy. I mean, so you actually need to actually be sensitive to that because, yeah, but generally, Alina, I would say that when you say healthy eating, what you want to do is you want to have a relatively balanced diet. Okay, now, so we need to also think about breastfeeding. So if you are breastfeeding, then definitely you need to be careful also. I mean, not to say that there are a lot of reasons why mothers cannot breastfeed their own baby and so on. But if you're breastfeeding, then, at least you put it into your head that the food you eat will help your baby to grow strong and healthy. Okay, and as I said just now, when we're talking about weight gain and so on, that is why you want to stay healthy before you even get pregnant. Okay, because during the pregnancy, that is not the time to actually watch what you're eating. Okay, because, and then after that as well, because now that you're breastfeeding, you also need to have a balanced diet. Okay, now the most logical thing is that, well, of course, the breast milk contains mainly fluids, water. Okay, so you need to drink plenty of fluids. Okay, and like 6 to 10 glasses a day. I think, and I have that problem. I don't drink enough. Okay, I need to make a point because now there's so many Zoom meetings and things like that,
Yeah.
right? One Zoom after the other. So I need now to make a point of here's what I need to drink until a certain time. Then I'll go back to the kitchen. I need to even tell myself because, yeah, I'm guilty of that, So, yes, drink plenty of fluids. Of course, the best is just water. You don't want sweetened drinks. You don't want carbonated drinks, and even juices. You would rather want to have a whole apple rather than a juice because there's no fiber if you actually just take the juice. Now, do you know that, Alina? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people think that, wow, I'm going to just have orange juice, isn't it? Yes, it's got all the vitamins and so on, but I think it's healthier to actually take the whole fruit so that fruit can provide you the juice. So it's just not just water. Okay, just make a point. And now, wow, mashallah, we have what the fruit season now, Alina. Wow, I go really crazy with this because I've got this friend of mine. She has got a mangosteen farm, Dusun. She's got rambutan. And I say, yes, have you come, bring it to auntie, I'll buy them because I just love the fruits, right? Okay, the other kinds of fruits apart from fluids is definitely proteins, okay? And you can get proteins with a lot of things, okay? If it's me, I will choose maybe low-fat milk, all right? Cheese, and yogurt. Okay, I've got something about Greek yogurt nowadays, which never used to be there. You know what I mean? The Greek yogurt is a little bit more, more more solid to me.
Oh.
And of course, meat, like chicken, like fish, like beans. So those are the proteins. Now, why is proteins good? Protein is the key to auntie, to me, right? Because it helps with recovery. As we said, your body went through some kind of stress. So you want to recover it with lots and lots of proteins, okay? And then you want to give it strength, all right? You want to give your body strength by building the muscles. So that's why you need the proteins. And then, of course, fruits and vegetables, vitamins, minerals, and lots of fiber. And I told you about fiber, about all those vegetables and fruits that you are eating. They are then providing the fibers. And Alina mentioned about junk food. Yes, we would like to limit the amount of junk food. Okay, after I went through that with the fat loss program, I have practically cut my junk food. Okay, so it used to be that I had chocolates, I had ice creams, and because there were so many, the two families in this, and then they buy, and then I'll eat, and I'll buy, and they eat. So now we try and cut down the junk food. If you don't buy it, of course you don't go find it in the kitchen, you know. So limit the amount of junk food. It's not good for you. It's not good for the baby. And limit, you know, processed food like burgers and things like that. Burgers is fine if you make your own. If you just take the meat and make a patty and then put it in, yeah, you know. So who says all burgers are bad? No, I mean, you know, you can make your own, and that's good. But you know, you don't know how the burgers are processed. If you buy it frozen, they might put a lot of fat to glue it together. I don't really know how the burgers are made, but I would imagine that, you know, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
I
So
think it's
generally, yeah, generally that's healthy eating.
previously when before I got pregnant, I really had I would say a healthy diet. So
Mhm.
I was really an advocate of salad and things like that. And after I got
Ah,
pregnant, after I started junk food, and my husband, he influenced me to buy this and that because he thought that I was
oh,
skinny. Then now,
okay.
oh my God, to give up on junk food it is really
Mm,
hard. So kudos
that's
to
right.
everyone who actually started and giving up
Yeah.
their
So
lifestyle.
better not start, kan,
Yeah,
Alina,
better
right?
not start.
Yes, betul, betul. Because, you know, somehow there's some addiction to this junk food, isn't it? I don't know
Yes,
what it is
correct.
that made, you know, and then sometimes you say, I'm going to be okay, because sometimes I see my 5-year-old grandson actually take something and says, you not ta, to mom. And then I said, okay, one, okay. And then take one, you know, cheezels or something. He said, okay, another one, please. And I thought, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. Yeah.
It's difficult because now we have a daughter at home, so we are the role model, right? We set the
You are
boundary, the
right.
benchmark, whether or not our family gonna proceed with junk food or not.
You
It's
are
not just
very
about
right.
us.
Betul betul Alina. Especially, you know, you being so young and all that. Okay, that is why I like it when say lifestyle changes, because you know all of this, our child is going to actually be looking at what you're eating.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you know if you're going to have a lot of fried foods on the table all the time, then inevitably, frankly, my own children, they just love fried food. You know, if you can't feed them anything, they will love then the fried chicken, the fried ikan bilis, and whatever,
yeah.
because it's crunchy and all that. But if you don't start, you know,
Mhm.
apa tu? So if it's eggs that they like, okay, why not boiled eggs? Okay, be it half boiled, soft boiled, 3/4 boiled, you know, whatever, but it's eggs rather than fried, because they like the taste of fried, and the next time it says, "Excuse me, mommy, can I have eggs? But I don't want this." No. Okay, so that is the healthy eating habit that we want to develop. Yeah.
One of our viewers actually asked something about pantang food. Like, can pantang food contribute to weight loss? So maybe you can comment a bit on pantang food.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to comment a lot because I myself, I was a very, very naughty daughter and daughter-in-law. I didn't really hear what my mother said about, you know, pantang this and pantang that. And because, you know, one of the first thing that, you know, to me, it wasn't right as such, was because I wasn't able to take a lot of the vegetables, some of the vegetables, and a lot of the fruits. Now, to me, that, oh my goodness, you know, after we go through that, the last thing I want is things like constipation and things like that. And I need my fruits. So I don't really want to comment as such on pantang food. But the rest, from what, because my daughter, she had a confinement lady, and what she was doing was absolutely healthy, because you know most of the time it's actually just boiled vegetables and then boiled rice, of course, no goreng nasi goreng or whatever. So generally, from what I see, they're very healthy, and fish was just steamed and things like that. So you know, from what I see, it's actually quite normal, apart from our argument about fruits and vegetables. Yeah, Nalina.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for the clarification. So moving on, maybe you can explain a bit about traffic light food. So
All right. Now, this is actually from the diet program that I went through, and my health consultant was giving me this about traffic light food. My all is it's just, you know, a very fun way of classifying the kinds of food, you know, whether it's green or amber and red, and knowing that, you know, with traffic light, green means go. I mean, you can have it as much as possible. Amber means, you know, or yellow means okay, watch out, and then red, of course, is a no. Okay, so in this, okay, fish is fish. So when I say, okay, we want to have lots of proteins, what kind of proteins? Fish. Okay, fish is good. Anyhow, no. Okay, so we would like to see that. Okay, steamed fish is definitely green. All right, so you want to eat a lot of that. Bearing in mind, we're talking about the kinds of food in which you want to actually move to after it is okay for you to just watch your eating, all right, but still, right, so green macam steam is okay. Then if you actually have fried fish, some people say, okay, I want it to be pan fried. Can or not? Okay, so that is actually much better than deep fried, for example. So I would say that that is amber or yellow. And then of course the no is a deep fried fish. I love deep fried fish, okay, especially the sweet and sour fish, that I normally have in say a Chinese restaurant and so on. But now, okay, I'm more aware. Okay, as I said, what that program did was to make me aware, to make me form a habit. All right, so for example, if it's chicken, I can still, so people may ask, can I then have fast food? All right, so between fast food, I would mention, hopefully I won't mention brands, but a deep fried chicken, for example. So I think we know which one that I'm talking. All right. So when the family says, "Okay, mom, we're not going to cook today. Can we just eat? Grab some food." Yeah. Okay. Can if you want chicken, then I will avoid the deep fried food. Then I will go for things which are roasted. Okay. So I will look. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So
It's
like
subtle, but I can already like pinpoint which.
yeah, so in your mind, so we can discuss that
Okay.
after the session. But yeah, so we will order, yeah, and that particular provider of the roasted baked chicken kind of thing also has salads to go with it. All right,
Yeah.
so that would be nicer. So that is why you
Okay.
need to actually be very smart in what you are choosing at the moment. Okay, so even rice. All right, so people say cannot eat rice. Okay, in my diet you can eat rice, but you need to control the portion. All right, so for example, steamed rice, that's perfectly all right. Okay, but if it is nasi biryani, yes, you need a little bit of you have to tumis in the beginning, right? Stir fry, in the beginning of the onions, and then only you add. So that's in the middle between that and of course the fried rice. If you fry the rice, you can just imagine, in my mind, I imagine each of the grain of rice being, covered by oil. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a no. Okay, so it can actually increase 3 times the number of calories. Remember, in all of this, calories in, if it's more than calories out, that's when you put on weight. So you want to actually be careful about this. Okay, and even vegetables. So you can steam the vegetables, all right, or bake. Okay, sometimes so now I love, for example, cauliflower that's baked. Okay, and or stir fried. But of course, tempura, for example. I love Japanese food, but with tempura, where the vegetables are concerned, if it's just tempura rather than salads, I love Japanese salads too. Their dressings is very, very nice. But okay, so it's tempura is completely deep fried, so that is definitely a no. Okay, and even eggs. Okay, my staple diet in the morning for the past few months, I've been having eggs. And don't worry, I checked my cholesterol is perfectly fine. My husband, who's got familial cholesterolemia, that means, through his genetics, so he's also taking 2 eggs a day in the morning, all right? His breakfast, but it needs to be boiled. It cannot be fried. Okay, pan fry is not too bad, but if you scramble, I don't know how you scramble your eggs, but me, I actually put in a little butter and then I put in that. So that is a no. And then of course, in the end, I also put cheese with it and blah, blah. So just be aware that, of this kind. So a breakfast would probably, my breakfast, this is actually, sort of my breakfast, although the slice is not mine. That's what I have. I actually have bread. I have 2 eggs, And then I actually have milk, either soya bean milk or low-fat milk. I will try and go for low-fat milk, or skimmed milk, as they say. And then some fruit, apple. And today, of course, it's rambutan. So depending on what you like, that is my normal breakfast. And that's my normal lunch. Okay, so maybe a steamed fish. Okay, and then even maybe an egg even, which is non-meat proteins, or even tauhu, tempeh. Okay, those has got proteins, vegetables, of course, and then a small portion of rice. So it's very, very simple actually, and it's not really very different from what you would normally have. It's just with me now, what I try and do is that when I take something now, I will think, oh, is this worth putting in my mouth or not? Because I need to do, because I am now more aware. I'm 64, going to 65 soon. So I am now thinking now, is this worth putting in my body? And that should apply for even my mothers, new or old mothers or grandmothers like me, okay, and so on. Okay, there's something else, all right? So that is what I would call healthy eating, okay? Fruits and vegetables and limit junk food. Yeah. So generally, this is what it means by healthy eating. All right.
I
And
think
that's one
one
of
of
the
the reasons, the culture, I think it also calls for our culture, because we eat nasi lemak for breakfast, and then in the afternoon we have an ayam masak merah and all that, and then
yes,
at night
Alina.
ayam ikan goreng
Betul.
with
Okay.
sweet and sour, right? So
Right.
it's a culture thing also, I would say, and
Yes.
we broke out with this lemak everywhere. So,
Yes. Yeah. So I know exactly what you mean. And I am actually Kelantan born, okay? So in Kelantan, it's not just nasi lemak in the morning, all right? It's nasi
yeah, it's
padang,
nasi
it's nasi
blau, right?
jabu, it's nasi belau, it's nasi tumpang, all rice based. And I
Yeah.
don't know whether this is right, but I used to think that how come this our generations, Kelantan generations, and so I mean but of course this is now the not just Kelantan lah, but I think a general Malaysian diet, Malay diet as such is like that. But I don't know whether it's true. I feel that in the old days maybe they are able to get away from with this, because they were doing a lot more manual work. They will go, maybe be eating this. They might go to the, rice fields, and then, or
Yeah.
rubber plantation or whatever.
Yes,
But
right.
now, we need to look at things differently, okay? Because most of the time we are in front of the computer. As we are now, as we do even our business, as we communicate with members of family, it's all Zoom, 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 sitting down. Okay, so we need to look at things differently. It's not that we cannot have nasi lemak, okay? But my health consultant, when I was doing this, was saying to me, and okay, if Dr. Sunyi is watching me, hi Dr. Tan Sunyi. So he says, from can, dia kata, boleh, you want to eat nasi lemak, but maybe once in 2 weeks. Wow. And really, my husband, is the type who actually follows instructions. So he will say, and on the 13th day, even I forgot, you see. And on the 13th day, he says to me, besok can eat nasi lemak. I'm going to buy nasi lemak. I said, why? Because Dr. Tan said that, after 2 weeks, I can eat nasi lemak. Oh my God. Okay. Right. So, yes, but yeah, you don't have to take things into that extreme, but I think we can somehow adapt it. Okay. So if the nasi lemak has always been so much, what do you call santan, the coconut milk, maybe reduce it a little bit. Okay. And nasi lemak also has, you eat it with telur, you eat it with eggs, that's proteins in it. Okay. So make it not so lemak, but call it, it's just got the whiff of santan in it and so on. That's fine. So, make some adaptations to it. So in my house, because my maid, she used to work in Saudi, so she makes nasi Arab, for example. So my daughter says, okay, Mom, what we're going to do is we will now, from now on, we will take brown rice. And brown rice. Never had brown rice before. So, so we will do it with brown rice with, as I said, we have to educate everybody in the house. So educate the maid even to say that, okay, boleh tumis Siti, but do it very sparingly. Go and see for how much oil she puts in her tumis and so on, and says, okay, that's fine. So, I think if you want to actually be, and remember, Alina, in Malaysia Malaysia is number one, the nation in Asia with the most number of obese people. Okay, do you know that, Alina? Okay, so knowing this, then we really need to take stock. We really need to look at what we eat. So we need to make these sacrifices. Okay, and sometimes when I put things in the Facebook and then I say, okay, this is mine. And you go, oh wow, Western is it? You don't like
Yeah.
and well, I don't really like that kind of remark. But sometimes when we look back, it's true, and that shows that maybe our way of eating, our eating plan needs to change. Not to make it Western, don't associate it with being Western, but associate it with being healthy. Okay, for example, Alina, okay, you can have curries. Okay, you can have curries. However, okay, don't take it now drown it with gravy.
Yeah.
Okay, because
They
all
call it
that
banjir, roti banjir,
banji.
and nasi
Exactly.
kandar
Also,
kuning.
roti banji. Yes. So don't do that. So eat it spread. I mean, if you have roti canai, a little bit lah. I don't banjir it, okay? And if you have it rice, as I showed you just now, white rice is fine, okay? In portion, of course, control portions. But then if you drown it, then it's not fine at all. It's as good as your nasi goreng already, okay? So take the meat from it, and have that taste around it. But then you have to walk. So a lot of this are just being adapted to the healthy lifestyle. There's a sacrifice you want to make because you actually want to remain healthy. Okay, and that's another reason why I went into the diet, because I want to actually look at things differently. I don't want to have people to look after me as such. I want to grow old in a very healthy manner. I don't want to not be able to walk, for example. I don't want the chronic diseases that can develop in old age to come too early. It might come, but you want to actually say, no, I've got more healthy years rather than this kind of, having to depend on people, having to depend on drugs. I don't want that. Okay, so I think, going back, I'm so sorry if going back to mummies, for example, if this is what they have in mind, okay, then it is very good. That means they're doing this at a very early age, okay, even with planning for the family. Everything needs to be planned, even weight gain, even whatever. Yeah, Lina.
All right. So, moving on, I think we should explain a bit on exercising. So we've talked about eating habit and how to cut down sugars and whatnot. So what about exercising? This requires a lot more effort, I would say. So how do we start?
Right. Do you exercise, Alina?
I don't. I only rely on breastfeeding.
Right. Is it because you don't have time or because you don't like
I can
exercise?
feel that my body is tiring me because we don't exercise, right? So I do stretch out and like workouts at home because I
Yeah,
really
that's
feel like
exercise.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exercise. Okay, you don't need to go out of the house. You don't need to go to the gym. Okay, even if you're moving, that's exercise. Even if you're mopping the floor, that's exercise. You're carrying your baby, that's exercise. Okay, it's not as opposed to just sitting down. Okay, so that's a very good question. Now, generally, even if you do not put on weight, Alina, you actually, moms who just gave birth, they really do need to exercise. Why? Okay, number one, it is actually to strengthen and what do you call this? Strengthen the muscles and the bones and everything, because as we say, okay, after you've lost that weight, I mean, you can just imagine in your mind, right? A huge a huge lump, in inverted commas, came out of you. So of course you will be flabby. So you want to strengthen that muscle. So of course, for confinement ladies, they have all the other things, urut, massage, and wear the bendong. That's right. So that's very good. But I think if it is in the form of exercise that comes from you, it's not that it's better, but that would be good as well. You can do all of those things, that a confinement lady asks you to do. But what you want to be aware is this: you want to strengthen the abdominal muscles, all the muscles in your body, because after the stress that your body has gone through. Okay. And then, of course, you want to exercise because, you want to lose the weight. Okay. Also, although later on, there is some argument whether exercises can lose the weight or not. We will see whether we have time for that. And then, of course, we want to boost your energy. Okay, because with me, in the morning, my husband will tell you, Alina, in the morning, because my routine is that, okay, in normal times when we I'll just go to the masjid, and then I come back, and the first thing I do is I actually will then go and exercise before my breakfast. Okay, but to start, Alina, is so difficult. There's so many excuses not to start. But once you know what I mean, and then once you've started, don't want to stop, and then because I live in a condo, so I just go around and 0.8 kilometers, and then my husband says, excuse me, are you still doing exercise? It's time for breakfast, because you don't want to stop. Okay, because as you exercise, there's certain hormones, endorphins it's called, that's being built, and it makes you feel so good, and then you thought, I can go on, but to start, memang susah. So this will then boost your energy. So if you have the baby and you can leave the baby for about, 45 minutes with a maid, with a mom, a mom-in-law, or whatever it is, I'm going to go my exercise. I can guarantee you when you come back, your energy will be really, really boosted. Okay. And then it will also, so it will also reduce certain things. Sometimes some people have backaches. Okay. So it's very good for that. And then some people have constipation. Yeah, if you're moving and so on, that can also help. Okay, and then of course it will also be able to improve your posture. Okay, so when you have the baby, sometimes you want to support the baby. Some people tend to bend, can Alina? So bend. Yeah. So this will also, when you do this, especially with me, what I do is I actually carry weights when I walk. And I consciously actually do that. I don't know if you can see me, in order to be able to improve my posture. So I like to do that. And then, of course, it will also, when you have exercise, then you can sleep better. Do you find that, Alina? So when you exercise a lot, then you're able to do that. You have spend some energy already. You're able to sleep better. And this is so important, especially when you have a baby, right? You want to catch as much sleep as possible, and because then the baby will wake up again. So it's important that you do that, okay? And then, of course, it can relieve stress. Yeah, I know time is running out. So,
Okay.
I didn't realize it's an hour. Okay.
Okay, so I think we can move on to between exercise and eating clean. Which one to prioritize? Maybe they will feel like exercise is taking too much toll on me.
Yeah.
Especially do it with working from home and then juggling with kids. So what are your advice to them?
What is my advice? Okay, there's always a thing going on about this. All right, well, between exercise and eating, which one to do? Okay, because a lot of people say I want to do one and not the other. Okay, so actually, both are important, but of course, your question is which one. Now, with all the studies that I have read recently, it's actually bad news for people who go to the gym like crazy, because it's not my study, but all of the studies seems to point out to that. Exercise is very important for health. It's good for your health, because how you need to bring up your heart rate to a certain level in order to be able to, for your heart and so on. But if you're talking about weight loss, it is not so important. This is what, as I said, a lot of people might be upset or sensitive about this, but this is what I have been reading. Okay. And, I would actually welcome people who give their feedback on this. Okay. Now, because if just before I appeared, I was just thinking about this. All right. now between exercise and eating right. Okay, and then when I read about how much how much calories you actually burn from doing certain exercises as compared to how much you are eating. Okay, but this is probably my opinion. Okay, so now if I actually have two donuts, which I don't actually, frankly, I haven't had the donut for already 7, 8 months already. If I have two donuts, I would need to cycle. It seems I would need to cycle for 1 hour in order to actually reduce that. Wow. What if I don't have that donuts at all? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So what
Yes,
if I'm
correct.
able to control and not have that donut? So what would I take? So if I'm really, really hungry, there's a donut and there's a salad, go for the salads and not for the donut, because it's easier to leave out certain things in your menu than to exercise. Tambah pula, Alina said you don't like to exercise. Kan?
Yes.
So just be a little bit more disciplined in choosing what it is that you actually eat. Okay, so for example, there's something also I learned from my health consultant. So between a very dessert, okay, ice cream go, cake go, or just now the donuts and this one. Do you know, Alina, for example, that, okay, before my mind was that somebody eating salads and somebody eating, say, fried rice. Lah, huh? Okay, this for lunch, fried rice and salad. Then I would say, okay, that person eating the fried rice. Wow, I'm sure he will be really, really full. Then I look at the person eating Caesar salad with the eggs and with the smoked salmon and says, kenyang ke ni? Will you be full and
Yeah.
all that? Okay, I mean, that's the mindset that I used to have before. But do you know, Alina, for example, that, okay, after about, give it 2 hours, 2 hours after that meal of nasi goreng or that Caesar salad, you will find that the person who actually had that nasi goreng will want to reach out for the donuts because, they will now actually feel more hungry earlier compared to the person who had the salad. Because the salad has got a lot of fibers, and when I was talking to you about eggs so
Yeah.
you actually need the energy to burn, and you are able to burn more fat eating the salad. You will be able to be what you call more full for a longer period than a person with nasi goreng. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, and you don't believe me, try it yourself. So now I have a completely different perception about salads. I think the only thing that I can think of why I never went into salad is because our, what do you call this, mine anyway, maybe not others, a perception of what a salad is was very, very different and very, very boring. So what I used to have when people say, come, let's have salad, then you will have be like the lettuce, the cucumber, the tomato, and then maybe put tomato or chili sauce on it.
Yeah.
Before, when I was younger, okay? And then when I went, because I stayed overseas for quite a long time, but in the UK, I don't think they have as much salads as I would like to. Then I also spent a bit of time in doing my sabbatical in Australia, and my perception of salad start to be different and much more creative. They're very creative in what they put in the salads. They put corn in the salad. They break up tuna bits in the salad. They put rocket leaves in the salad, and it's not just beautiful; it's tasty. Okay, and talking about that, so the only thing about salad is you have to watch out about what are the dressing that you put. Okay, so the normal salad dressing, that can also be fatty. So you know how I actually overcome that? I actually put my Greek yogurt in it. Okay, and so so it's got the goodness of Greek yogurt, it's probiotic, it's got proteins and so on, and have that with a salad instead of my normal mayonnaise. Okay, so these are the kinds of adaptations that I need to do. So so between the two, I would say roughly, okay, both are important because, okay, but I feel that for weight loss, you really need to watch out your eating. how you eat and how you cook, the kinds of food. So it needs to be nutrient, they call it nutrient dense food. Okay, as I said, lots more protein, less carbohydrates in it. Okay, I can share a lot more on the healthy eating part and so on, but I'm very much aware to things. So I think time is running, is it, Alina? Because
Yeah,
just by
I think
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we
so
can answer a few questions from our viewer today,
okay, I'm
especially
so sorry. I can't.
in regards to Atkins diet. So Shahida Hassan asked, boleh explain tak Atkins diet, keto diet, intermittent fasting, calorie
Okay.
counting diet? Does it work to lose
All right,
weight?
okay. So I think we need another session for all of this, Alina, because
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
because it's not fair for me to actually point one of the diet whether it's in But I actually what do you call this? Have learned a little bit more about all of those diets. For example, keto diet, a lot of controversy, for example, and so on. But I want to be a little bit more, what do you call this, balance in my views and so on. So I'm not able to actually say that in one go, how one is better than the other. For example, before this, I did not go to all those Atkins diet or keto diet or whatever. All I did was, because I wasn't huge, okay, what do you call this? So most of the time, I actually went to something called intermittent fasting, okay, in which, my last meal, for example, was, okay, the night before. And then what do you call this, and my next meal is during lunchtime. I actually completely missed out on the breakfast, but as I learn more from what I explained, okay, then I will still go back to my 3 meals a day diet, okay, in which I have my breakfast, I have my proper breakfast, I have my proper lunch, I have my dinner, okay. And to me that is best. So I rather not answer that yet, okay, as I said, until I'm able to have more time to do what do you call this, a very fair view of each one of them, Alina. So if you don't mind, I won't comment on it yet. Okay,
Oh,
except now
oh,
to just say that just stick to the balanced diet. Okay,
oh,
even the KKM, even our Ministry of Health have their own, dipanggil suku-suku separuh kind of
yes,
diet.
yes, correct.
Yeah, you've seen that, right? So,
Yeah.
so my kind, the one that I have explained a little bit just now, is slightly different from that. Okay, because ours is, also a lot money, because ours, actually, I mean, the one that I am following, so I'm more comfortable talking about that, is actually a full quarter of the plate is actually protein from meat, okay, and then a non-meat protein, and then a carbohydrate, and then only the vegetables and the fruits, that kind. So I think, stick to that kind of balanced diet, and I think we will not go far from there. Okay.
Okay, so when it comes to like diets and whatnot, there's a lot of mazhab to follow.
I
So
know. That's
maybe
why I
we have
said
to
I'd
open
rather not
another session in terms
offend
of like
people.
mazhab diet, which one is the best?
So that's
All
why I
right.
said
So
because it can
yeah,
become
thank you so much,
sensitive,
Datin. Ah,
It can become sensitive. So that's why I
yeah,
said,
it can become sensitive too. Yeah.
yes, yeah, because those people who follow certain kind of diet, I don't really want to say anything that's not right or whatever. So that is why I said maybe we need a little more time. Not that I don't want to comment, but and then make a better assessment of that kind, rather than give a 1 minute overall view, which is, I think, not fair, because people are following and they are losing weight in their own ways. So yeah, so for me, it's just that. But maybe, before ini, I also want to just emphasize the fact that, since you're talking about pregnancy and mothers and whatever, so I think the last point that I would like to make is that we need to get to a healthy weight. Okay, because most people, and since we're talking about monies and babies and all that, okay, we would want to have to get to a healthy weight, because they might want the next baby. So before your next pregnancy, if you were doing it, not wrong, but if for the first baby you were a bit too big to start off with, and then you gain too much weight, and then now you're in problems because you've to lose more weight, and not only that, maybe have some complications and so on. My advice, in this limited time, is just to say that, yeah, before you think about your next pregnancy, then try and get to a healthy weight. Okay, then I think, and with that in mind, then you're going to say that, yeah, I'm going to have a very healthy baby. So your mindset is such that, right, everything should be planned, right or not, Alina? So it shouldn't be like an accidental thing that, okay, dapat lah, tak dapat pun tak apa. It should not be like that. It should be a conscious, because this is going to be your baby, and it's going to be your life ahead of you. So and it's going to be you. So for the health of you and for the health of the baby, then to try and get to a very much healthy weight. Yeah.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Datin Dr. Zahurin, for sharing with us today. Of course, when it comes to like healthy lifestyle, eating 1 hour wouldn't do justice. So, for more information in terms of how you want to lose weight, you might want to follow Dr. Zahurin on Facebook, or you can ask us directly in our Facebook page, Dr. Mommy and Baby. And I think, sorry, the time is running
No
out. So
worries.
I really had fun talking to you, Dr. Zahurin, and hopefully in the future we can discuss more in regards to
Inshallah.
mummies and babies health
Inshallah.
setting. I think that's all from me.
Yeah,
So
thank
we
you.
end this discussion with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.